Hello everyone, this is LunaISM, and today I'm going to be playing some Risk of Rain 2. And this time, I'm going to be using a character that I just unlocked, new to me, but not to the game necessarily. Mercenary was a returning character from Risk of Rain, and they've been changed up a little bit, due to the change from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions. Yeah, I played a one-dimensional game once. It wasn't very fun. So, Mercenary is an interesting character compared to the others because they use a sword, and they start with a double jump. That's a useful trait to have because they need to get close to people, and you gotta be able to avoid damage. So, as you can see, your basic attack that swings up to 3 times. You can hold it down to continue swinging repeatedly. And on the 3rd swing, it does this little area slash in front of you. Mouse 2 does a horizontal slash that hits 2 times on the ground, or hits 2 times in a vertical slash in midair. I'm gonna go ahead and activate this Shrine of Combat. Shift lets you dash up to 3 times. If you hit an enemy, you will stun them temporarily and deal some damage. And you can use the ability up to 3 times before it goes on cooldown, as long as you're hitting your attacks. And your R is Eviscerate. You will dash towards the nearest set of enemies and slash up to 6 times, and you are invincible while making those attacks. That is the Mercenary in a nutshell. Tougher Times is going to help me survive a little bit more in melee, and Bustling Fungus gives me some much-needed recovery. So now I need to be running off in search of loot. I'm gonna jump up here real quick, see if there's... Nope. Nothing up there really worth going for. Oof. You can already see my Tougher Times doing work for me. Gotta be moving on. And you can use your mouse 2 ability to sort of get another jump. It's only a short distance. War Banner is okay. You can afford to stay in your War Banner a little bit more than some of the other characters because you have so many abilities that make you temporarily invulnerable. You're invincible while using your dash or your Eviscerate. So, Mercenary is one character who hasn't changed terribly much from their iteration in Risk of Rain, the first, I suppose. You've got to be awfully careful about how you space yourself from the enemies, because many of them have potent close range abilities Also, the one thing I have noticed, on Mercenary at least, is that it seems that your Eviscerate ability gives you a short forward dash. So this shield generator is going to be good for my long-term survivability. And Syringe is just a great item overall. Now I do see the teleporter back there, but I'm going to go for some other stuff if I can find it. Namely that thing up there. I almost jumped off. Lensmaker's Glasses is pretty good. Okay, now I'm gonna go for the teleporter, which I saw over here. Stone Titan is a tricky boss for this one, because they have some dangerous melee attacks. Or at least they did in the first one. I don't know if that's a trait that is carried over. Now, I do have one benefit in this game that I don't from the other game, and that's that I can dash to get out of his line of sight a little more easily. But then again, in the first game, he didn't have that ability, so it wasn't a problem. Trying to avoid his damage while clearing up some of these trash mobs. Trying to use this pillar to stay out of his line of sight as much as I can. Ooh, lunar coin. Gladly. Alright, I took out the boss without too much danger. Okay, I should be able to teleport out of here fairly quickly. As long as I stay in this area. Yeah, pro tip, if you're not in that little red circle, you will not be able to charge the teleporter to leave the zone. Ooh, Colossal... no. Titanic Neural. They changed the name of the boss from Colossus to Titan, I think. Stone Titan? Something like that. Yeah, it's throwing me off my rhythm. Okay. I'm kind of excited because the only character I haven't unlocked yet is the Arcanist, I think they're called. I almost fell into that pit. I'm not a big fan of falling into pits. I had a set of favorite builds on Mercenary in the first game. The first one was kind of a standard build that abused a tier 3 item known as the Wicked Ring, that's what it was called. And the Wicked Ring had an effect where every time you scored a critical hit, the enemy, or not the enemy, whenever you score a critical hit on an enemy, their cooldowns would be reduced by 1. And the Mercenary has the pleasure of having some fairly low cooldowns. As a result of being the only melee class, they need a little bit extra love and care than the other classes do. The thing is, if you stack your crit chance high enough, nice, goat hoof, move faster. If you stacked your crit chance high enough, you could guarantee that you would reset your cooldowns every time you used mouse 2. So, for instance, whenever you used mouse 2, it would reset mouse 2's cooldown. Because it hits twice, and the cooldown was only like 2 seconds or so. If you could get multiple, you could reset your other abilities as well, and it was just a very potent build. I love that sound effect on tougher times. Alright, I'm gonna go back and grab this bandolier. I think it's a bandolier. Yes. So every time I kill an enemy, they will have a chance to drop an item that will reset all of my cooldowns. Which is fantastic, because cooldowns are the most important part of surviving as the Mercenary. Since so many of your abilities require you to be in close range, you're going to take a lot more damage unless you can abuse your invincibility frames. And that's what the crit build in the first game was all about, resetting your cooldowns so you could effectively never take damage. You could still get absolutely destroyed by stuff like overloading magma worms, which are tricky, tricky bosses. But otherwise, it was a very powerful build. But probably my favorite build, and it's not better than the Crit Mercenary build, but it was fun. Probably my favorite was what I called the damage over time build. And the idea behind it was to use your abilities to stack on hit effects, because so many of the mercenaries' attacks apply effects or have multiple attacks on them. So for instance, your left shift, which can be used up to 3 times and passes through all enemies, could apply on hit effects to everyone in a line up to 3 times. Your right click, which used to be your second ability on the keyboard, would apply those effects 2 times. Eviscerate could apply them 6 times, and your stunning dash, or whatever it's called, would apply them essentially 3 times per enemy in a line. So you could stack a ton of effects on enemies and have some pretty hilarious delayed reactions. I'm gonna call the build, from now on, I'm gonna call it the Kenshiro build, because of the ephemeral voice line, "You are already dead," or as you may know it, "Omae wa mou shinderu." To which the enemies would usually respond, "What?" and then die. That was the concept behind the build. I'm gonna pray the Shrine of Combat, summon some greater whiffs. That was maybe not the greatest idea. I've realized that I haven't been paying attention to when my cooldowns come off, and as a result, I've been missing a lot of my free bandolier skills. Since I'm passing through enemies so often with my abilities, it can be difficult to keep track of what I have and when. Pick up that coin and get out of that. At some point, I must have killed the Greater Wisp, because I stopped seeing them. No, I guess they just ran away. That's stressful. I'm gonna get out of there now. Let's find the teleporter. I mean, I won't pass up the opportunity to kill some enemies, get more stacks on my infusion if the chance presents itself. But I really need to find that teleporter so I can advance. Hey, Shrine of Chance. Give me some items, please. Please. Alright, personal shield gen, and guaranteed crit chance for 8 seconds is only okay. I'd much rather have better damage all the time. But an oh heck button is nice. If I wasn't saving up lunar coins, I'd consider opening that pod. I will say I am way more impressed with Mercenary's ability to deal with large groups in this game than I was in the last one. Oh, I see teleporter particles. Okay. We need to get through this stage quickly. Beetle Queen. I noticed my health was getting very, very, very low. need to find a safe spot to rest and get my health back. Titanic Knurl is going to help, but it's not enough. I haven't been talking much because it is very hard to concentrate while I'm talking, but Bandolier is what has kept me alive this entire time. Definitely think the Mercenary needs some kind of way to reset their cooldowns to be very effective. Either that or insane attack speed. Because their damage is not the highest. I am glad my health regens so quickly. That makes things a lot easier. Yeah, so if you don't know, there's always a chest that looks like this on the 3rd stage. If you can get there in under 10 minutes, you can open it, and it'll give you a special use item that you have to unlock in order to acquire. Gonna jump down here and zoom. I could use more damage. Okay, so if you've been paying attention, you've noticed my problem so far. I can't kill individual enemies very quickly at the moment. I don't have enough damage against individual targets. Save my life, please. I will gladly give up a couple items for more attack speed. Primordial Cube is probably a better item for me. The best item would probably be some kind of additional bandolier. Actually, additional bandolier is the only thing I really want. Or more tougher times. That'd be cool. Additional chance to negate all damage as a melee character. Yes, please. Oh, I don't have enough money for that, do I? $13.94? What is that? Okay, that worked pretty well. Altar of Gold. That opens up an area to a special boss, which is incredibly difficult, at least for me to beat at the moment. I don't think I have the time or the survivability to deal with that. So I am going to not do it. I do heal pretty quickly out of combat, I will say that. More move speed is never a bad thing. is that? ATG Missile 1 could be very good if I can stack more of them and get more attack speed. Attack speed is literally all I can really hope for at the moment to salvage this run. More move speed wouldn't hurt. A heal on hit, like a leeching seed, would be great. Magma Worm is probably the worst boss for this character. Ah, there it is. I knew it was going to happen soon. Whew. Okay, well, that run didn't go so well. Alright. Sorry, I'm coming down from a stress high. Okay, well, that's going to be it for this run. I think I'm going to try out the engineer next and see what I can do on that. Alright, for now, this has been Luna ISM. Ladies, gentlemen, and others, have a good time. I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.